What- Did you think when you were either working as a knuckle puller, and I think that's the duties of that, we're just going to let people ask you at the book signing after, or at the convenience store, did you think, aha, I'm keeping it real, and I'm on the path?
Honestly, part of me, it was kind of doubly pathetic because part of it was, I thought, I'm probably doing something kind of writerly. Someday I'll write about this. But also, in truth, the oil boom had crashed, and I tried to get better jobs, and I couldn't get them. So it was sort of, out of one side of your mouth, you're saying, this will be a great writerly experience. And this one is saying, oh my God, I'm really working at a convenience store. And so, actually, the low point of that convenience store was I have these dear friends in Chicago that actually got me into college, these 2 high school teachers. So I'd been to Asia, which is kind of a big deal, and so I come home, and they asked if I'd come to their class and give this kind of motivational talk about living your dreams. So I did, and I did a pretty good talk about it, because I know itself to be true. And then the brightest kid in that class, so I gave the talk, and I went to work at the convenience store. And we had those little yellow shirts, those kind of things that'll start on fire if you move your hands too quickly. And this brilliant kid, who I'd really impressed with my inspirational speech, came in. And I just remember the look. It was heartbreaking. He just went, oh. And then he just turned around and walked back out.
Oh. You follow your dreams all the way to the beef jerky display.
Right.
Well, John Munson, have you had experiences like that where, like, I am at the nadir of my employability?
Please say yes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I kind of chucked everything from music at a certain point, and that's definitely there's a struggle to that. But part of what caused that was some early work experience in bakeries, schlepping 100-pound sacks of powdered sugar up the stairs in a July heat and coming out of the place glazed like a donut and reeking of grease. It's like, music has got to be better than this.
I mean, the interesting thing was that when I went over to Asia, I shouldn't admit this, but I was at the School of Mines. It had a slight right-wing tilt at that time, and it was the Reagan years, and I was a big Reagan guy, and I also was big on Ayn Rand, the Atlas Shrugged, and so I thought, I'm going to Asia to get these people's oil out of the ground for them, powerful. And I hope they appreciate it.
We'll be greeted as liberators.
That's right. You will be. That's right. So I went there with that in mind, but I was raised well. My parents are wonderful people, and I was raised very Catholic in the kind of Chicago Dorothy Day tradition. So it was interesting that to be in that setting and see some of the crap that I saw, you'd have to be a bonehead not to be politicized a little bit. So I remember one time in Singapore, going to some really decadent nightclub and staggering home, and making that exact sound, actually, as I remember. And looking down, and on Orchard Road, which is at that time sort of the glamour part of Singapore, there was a hotel going up. And at night, I looked over, and there was this kind of motion in the excavation. And I stopped, and it was actually this incredible swarm of about 200 women from, say, 50 to 70 in sort of traditional Malaysian dress. And what they were doing was clearing the excavation of rocks, big rocks, big boulders. So they'd start it after dark, and they'd just get in a line, almost like ants, and empty that thing of all the rubble. So those kind of things. And at one point in Asia, we actually, me and some of the guys decided to have a pig roast, and actually sort of drafted / forced the Muslim cook to cook a pig. So to do this kind of stuff and be basically a nice person, it starts to grate. And so in a certain way, that was the real benefit of that work, was that you couldn't look at that stuff and not be moved. And very slowly, the world became a political and then thus a literary kind of a place.
Yeah. So at what point did you say, maybe I'm a writer, and maybe I'm not observing this, maybe I start writing this down or something down?
Well, I was writing it down, but I had done, again, a lunkhead thing of never reading anything newer than 1940. Somehow I didn't like the idea of someone alive being better than me. If they were dead, it was fine, but so I just hadn't read anybody new, and the engineering school was part of it. So I was writing about it, but kind of like Somerset Maugham on Quaaludes, it was just not. So a lot of really cool things happened then, but I didn't have a language yet and then I came back to Chicago, actually many years later, and read a beautiful story called Hot Ice by this writer, Stuart Dybek, who actually, it turns out, had gone to the same high school in Chicago as my dad. And somehow reading a story about an actual neighborhood I knew just was like, suddenly literature was in color for the first time. And I thought, oh, you got a lot of work to do to catch up.
There's something revelatory, I think, about encountering great work from a neighbor.
Exactly.
That blows your mind and makes it available to you as a thing that you can do. I know for me, watching people like Paul Westerberg and Husker Du and people like that, big rock bands from my town go out and make waves in the world. Suddenly, it seemed like, wow, actually, this might matter.
Right. That's how communities get started of people who are writing or making music. Well, I don't want to. I know most people here are here because they are fans of your engineering work.
Yes.
But
I had that one bridge that stayed up.
Yeah.
That was a great. That was,
was good.
Big moment.
And how perfect that the whole experience ends with 600 pooping monkeys.
Yeah.
It's really, it's like Sumatra just waving goodbye.
Yeah. Come on.